Good man, if you go over to the wooden door
down the end,
please. All right, you're all very welcome. Can I just ask the guys in the middle there to come on in, because there's a crowd behind you. Come on in. Everybody's shy. It's like mass sitting in the back seat. Come on, 4 or 5 more steps forward. That's it. Come on. Mr. Printerface, you can come too. All right, so we are here tonight. It's our Bulmers Road To Gold Cheltenham preview night with a twist. It's all about giving you racing insights and a bit of crack too. We'll have Cheltenham Festival tickets to give away. Smash Hits, you're going to play live in just a little while, and then there's a DJ set. So we've got you the whole night's entertainment, and it's all free, gratis, and for nothing. All you got to do is hit the hashtag Road To Gold, and somebody in the room will be going to getting tickets to Cheltenham. And we're also going to be giving away a share in 3 jump horses in our quiz. Everybody here tonight is in with a chance of winning tickets as well. So just keep going with the hashtag Road To Gold. Let's get our panel out. Please give it up for John Duggan, Oli Bell, Paul Carberry, Bryan Cooper, and Kate Harrington.
I'm the third one in, yeah.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Ollie, how are you doing? Sit wherever. we had a plan. Bryan, welcome. Hey, how you doing? Right, I'm going to sit behind the desk if, this is another weight joke that JP's making for us. Right, so we're going to talk about Cheltenham. If anybody has any questions for our panel, now would be a good time to get them in and we'll try and answer them for you. But we're going to start with Cheltenham highlights. First memories, maybe. John Duggan, you're a veteran of Cheltenham at this point.
this will be my 18th Cheltenham next month. Good evening, everybody. You're all very welcome. And my first memory of Cheltenham was seeing Don Run win the '86 Gold Cup, a very emotional day for Irish sport. The mare, the only horse to ever win a champion hurdle in the Gold Cup, but the mare, Don Run, tragically killed. But in 2002 was my first Cheltenham as a reporter for Today FM. And on the Tuesday, I had a couple of winners, and Paul Carberry was riding in the panel a horse called Frenchman's Creek. And it won at 8-1, and I'm a bit of a moper, so I was looking around with my head down. And about half an hour after the race, I saw a docket on the ground for Frenchman's Creek at 8-1. And I looked around, and was anybody around? And I got, there's nobody around here. So I took up the docket off the ground, casually walked up to a bookie and cashed it in for £180. So I don't know if I'd do it now. But
I gave it all to charity is the end of that story, right?
Yeah. And a day later, I flagged Super Morales, who won the champion chase, and I was shortchanged 100 quid in my winning, so I think that was the karma. So that was the first introduction to Cheltenham that I had. But so many great memories, so many great horses: Denman, Caudle Star, Hardy Eustace. So it's an amazing place, and I think if you go to Cheltenham, you never want to not go again. That's probably the best way I would describe it. It is Olympics to national hunt racing.
Ollie, you've got some different experiences. You know, you've been as a punter, you've been as a broadcaster. What was your broadcasting debut like at Cheltenham?
So, is this on?
Yeah.
Hello. With ITV, we obviously launched a couple of years ago. So everything led up towards Cheltenham. Cheltenham was the big starting point for us. We'd had about 10 shows before we got to Cheltenham, but Cheltenham was the pinnacle. Everything led towards that. And we tried a few new ideas. Obviously, it went from Channel 4 to ITV, and one of the new ideas we had was a thermal imaging camera. And that was meant to show the horses when they got warm in the paddock. So it was red when it was warm, it was green when it was cold. But what it showed, or ended up showing, was the underwear of the grooms, and it essentially was a sort of X-ray vision and that got shelved quite quickly. But then my first show on the opening show, Tuesday morning, Cheltenham, as I said, was the pinnacle, and I do get nervous.
I know what the story is.
Yeah. I do get nervous before shows, but Cheltenham is obviously the highlight. And being on the road to gold and everything, it's amazing. We all know how much Cheltenham means to everyone in racing, for Kate, for Bryan, for Paul, people who work with horses. I know there's loads of you in the audience that love horses, and Cheltenham's the pinnacle.
And Jarlath.
Yeah, I do.
And Jarlath with his father. I don't know whether you know he's a trainer, ladies and gentlemen. But for us on the opening show, it's massive. And our position, our studio, is in the stables. So when we arrive, you get to see the horses arriving behind us. And the shot when we introduce it is of a single of me on the camera 3, I think it is. Behind us, you can see some of the lorries arriving. And he was quite a big man, I don't know his name, but he was one of the grooms, and he had a big belly on him. And he gets out the lorry, and they go, cue Oli. So I have to go, welcome to Cheltenham, the pinnacle of the sport. We're leading up to the Gold Cup, the most prestigious race in the history of horse racing. As I'm doing that for the first ever show on ITV for the opening show, the groom of the horse, pulls his trousers down and has a wee on the horse box. Because we can see out, but they can't see in, so they have no idea there's a TV show going on. Anyway, I hear in my ear, cut to camera 4, which is a wide shot that takes your man out the show. And I went, what's going on then? And I look behind, and the guy, you know when you're a 4-year-old, you pull your trousers all the way down when you have a wee. This guy did a schoolboy wee. And not only was I concerned about why he's weeing on a tyre, I'm also confused why he's peeing like a 4-year-old, basically. That was my first ever experience of Cheltenham on air, but there are so many memorable moments. Dawn Run, obviously, a legend, but Corto's star when he won the Gold Cup. As we know, it's such a great race. When he regained it for the first time, it's brilliant. But I'll never forget my first ever Cheltenham on ITV.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Kate, can you beat that? Can you match that? What's your...
It was Kate, actually.
Squatting at the back of the lorry. No, I've had amazing Cheltenham memories. And just as we're going on the funny side of things, one of the year Sizing John won the Gold Cup. I'd ridden him out that morning and he felt great and everything. I went off, as you do, to go get my hair blow dried. And as I'm getting my hair blow dried, I'm like, God, Sizing John and Rock the World today, both really, really good chances. And I'm like, right, I don't think I want to drive my car back to the airport. So I look up Hertz and I'm like, see, there's one side of Cheltenham. I'm like, right, I'll just ring them up, drop the car back, done and dusted. So the hair's done, but like I told them to put them in rollers. So I'm in my riding out gear from that morning, hair and rollers, drop the car back and go to the lady, could you get me a taxi, please? She looked at me like I had 10 heads. It's now 11 o'clock in the morning of Gold Cup. And she's like, love, you will not get a taxi for about 3 hours. I was like, sorry, what? So I'm on the side of a motorway. And she's like, the closest way you'll get to one is down the hotel, like half a mile away. So I then, nothing in the car, off I go, riding out gear, socks kind of up to here, pair of boots on, hair and rollers, walk down. Man pulled over, being like, are you lost? Thought I was like drunk and deranged. And I was like, no, going down here. So anyway, skipped a queue, massive queue at the hotel that was for everyone travelling to the races, and jumped in. And I was getting abused by people. And I was like, I have to get to the races to saddle a horse in the first. I just have to get there. Back Sizing John and Rock the World. Well, can I tell you, when Rock the World won, Sizing John won, Rock the World won, I mean, there was about 30 people down at the winning post. They backed both horses, and they said, 2 people wrote me letters afterwards and thought they were the funniest because they thought I was an absolute crazy lunatic. Hair rollers in my hair.
So they'd seen you at the hotel and then they saw you later and wrote, that's class.
Like literally, I skipped their queue and I got into a taxi. And then actually when we got to the race, they obviously dropped us off at the races and everyone's arriving. And I'm still in my riding out gear. Got to walk 300 yards down the road to my house to get changed. Met my mum. She's like, are you okay? And I was like, just don't ask what happened. Just don't ask what happened. But I think that's probably and one man still comes up to me every year and says that, like, just the sight of me with hair rollers, riding out gear, walking down the side of a motorway.
They had to take your tips. Was your hair and rollers the day you won the Gold Cup, Bryan?
Yeah, had to make sure it was all done right. I suppose, again, like on Funny Stories, that following morning after I won it, I was on the way to the airport and I was like really late. I already missed 2 flights, and my girlfriend and her friend, like, I shoved them into the car. I was like, come on, we have to go. And her name was Chloe, and we get halfway up, she was like, lads, where are we? So she doesn't remember coming out of the house into the car. She had like her pajamas on, 1 boot on, 1 shoe. So they dropped me off at the airport, like, and they had to go drive back to Cheltenham, get all the bags, all the clothes, and bring them on back to the airport. And I got a $2,500 fine from Hertz because the car was like, the person who dropped it back just abandoned it where it shouldn't have been. They found it 3 days later. Like there was 3 or 4 speeding penalties signed to that car. So it was probably lucky I won the Gold Cup that year because I probably paid that many fines.
This is what happens at Cheltenham when it all goes right. These are like, it's not the going into the winners' enclosure, it's these stories that like make Cheltenham.
It's the Friday nights.
How much do you remember of the actual race itself? Like, is that bit burned into you?
No, I genuinely I do. It was unbelievable. Like there are days you don't forget. I don't remember a whole lot from that night, but I remember a fair bit. Like it just the pressure up to it was unbelievable. It was quite a lot.
Because
I had to pick between Don Cossack and Don Poli, and it was a very tough choice. Everybody thought it was straightforward, but it was tough going, and just for me to win a Gold Cup growing up was my dream. Like a lot of people say it's a Grand National, but for me, all I ever wanted to do was win a Gold Cup. So and to do that at such a young age was amazing.
And so how much of the race itself, like at what point in the race do you think, oh, hang on a second, this is actually going the way it's supposed to? When do you realise, when do you start to...
The second.
Yeah. No, I was going to win. Well, he definitely felt I knew I'd win, but I made a mistake at the 4th last, fence the top of the hill, and it's quite trappy. And he landed out in his head, but literally came back on the bridle straight away. And all I was trying to tell myself was just not get there too soon. And obviously Q card fell, but I would have beat him anyway, there's no doubt about it.
That's the perfect answer. So when you do have 2 horses that have a chance on Gold Cup Day and one of them is in the Gold Cup, is there pressure or is it just excitement in the build-up to that race?
It's excitement. Like it's great to have 2 horses going with chance. Like Sighton John the year he won, like he was going in as an outsider, and it when he won, and then it was kind of Rock the World was our leading chance of the week, and he was the last race, the last day, and then when he won, it was just like, oh, this is easy. To get a double on the last day of Cheltenham, it's what dreams are made of.
And how much of that race? So that, again, is there a point in the race where you're going, ooh, this is...
They went really, really quick, and like Rock the World normally always is up in the first 2, but he jumped the first fence and he was second last. Mum was like, it's grand, we've won a Gold Cup, it's fine. It's fine. And then Robert just crept away through the race, and he won well. It was amazing.
At least your mum went out to the parade ring. I won the Gold Cup, and I went out to ride in the Grand Annual, and Michael O'Leary, Gordon, none of them even appeared in the parade ring after, so I don't think to this day they even saw the Grand Annual.
No harm. Paul, what do you... What when you look back now at your Cheltenham career, which has unbelievable success over the course of it, is your first win at Cheltenham more important than the biggest race you won, or how do you view it now?
Well, it probably was, because the first race I won there probably led me on to get my job in Noel Meads, because I went over and rode one for Homer Scott Rhythm Section. I was only claiming 5 at the time. The first time being at Cheltenham, first ride, and I bet Heist, which was the money on favourite, and me trained with Charlie Swan.
Right.
So then he gave Charlie Swan the boot and made me the first jockey. So that was the start of it then. But Solid now was a great win. They're all great wins. Frenchman's Creek, Belvano.
Was Solid heavily favoured, or like there's an expectation?
No, he was sort of. I think you rode one that was in.
Bog Warrior.
Nah.
Yeah, one of Tony Martin's. You were favourite though, you know?
Was he?
Yeah. I only got a spare that day actually.
Yeah.
David Russell got hurt. I didn't have the job then.
But no, a lot of good, nice memories there. And like Balvino, the horses dropping out and coming there, landing on the line, Frenchman's Creek, and then. But
is it harder to win a race you're expected to win than like being an underdog? We're Irish. We love being underdogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Say the champion hurdle, Paul.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Archibald.
Archibald, Florida for fucking hell. I was after winning on Looks Like Trouble the year before in the Sun Alliance, and then the start of the year I opted for Florida Pearl, and next thing Looks Like Trouble wins, I finished second. And then Hardy Eustace beat me on Archibald, but here look, Hardy Eustace was the better horse of the day, I think.
But you say about your first Cheltenham memory, and Bryan, for young racing fans, is a riding idol. Obviously you've got Ruby and Barry and whatnot, but for me growing up, this man, and it is genuinely, and I work in the industry now and I know we all do, but you are, and you won't say it yourself, but a riding legend. When Paul Carberry travelled into a race at Cheltenham with his bum in the air as he did, just a genius horseman, and it's such like an honour to have Paul here reflecting on his career. And Bryan's the same for young fans growing up as well, but he is a real wizard. It was as a young man growing up who loved horses and loved horse racing, see how he handled those horses. It was a joy to watch.
Can you explain that to us a little bit? Because when we talk about this, we talk about the skill and the horsemanship is the thing that everybody talks about, Paul Carberry. And it's not that he won the most races, it's that there are horses that didn't deserve to win that he wins on.
Yeah, I mean, well, Belvano's like the case in point, really. That horse was a bit of a rogue, bit of a monkey, and Paul would just weave his way through.
How? What like, are you talking to him? Are you shouting at him? Are you whispering?
Nicky Henderson came to me on the Tuesday. I was weighing out for the first race. He says, I have a horse for you for the Grand Annual, the last day. He says, you win them. He says, the other lads can't ride them. They keep going too soon. It's grand. He says, just, when you think you have to go, he says, wait. I says, grand. I tell you, when I turn in, I'd have another lap to go. And he'll be grand. He won't think about it. And that's what I did. And your man just ran away with me then.
So hang on a second. How did you, like, communicate?
I confused the horse. I told the horse another lap to go, so he started to pick up again. And just take him. Then, some horses are funny. When you go to push them, they go backwards. So if you let them think they're running away, they'll do a bit more for you. So just keep them on the
didn't push them. That's
no, just let him think another lap to go.
So the language is kind of the language of touch. It's not, yeah.
You confuse them.
He's got a very soft touch.
Paul, Archibald, obviously it was painful. Like he was a horse that was just a very, very difficult horse to ride, and you came cruising to Hardy Eustace and you didn't get there. I mean, was it just absolutely gutting her?
It was, yeah, but Archibald actually does the best he can. He's not a rogue. He just gives everything. He's a bridle horse, and that's all he does in the day. Your man is a tough horse. You've seen him. He's won the year before. Noel Mead came in. He says, what could you have done anything else? I says, could have sat longer. It was the only thing I could have done. What happened was Brave Vinkett pulled out and gave me room, which sort of took a bit of my energy away. And so we're in punches down the next day, and after that, Noah says, right, don't be acting the bollocks, don't be messing around, just go and win your race. Don't be telling the people that you were right.
Sore, was he?
He was. He said, you just go and win your race. So going to the last, picked him out, went to the front. What happened? Stopped, got bet by Brevinka. I came in, I was never as thick in my life. I says, don't ever fucking tell me how to ride a horse again. That's another grade 1 down the Swanee. He says, right, I won't. But he was a character of a horse. You just had to know how to hold him and just...
So, you're in, I remember Harbour Pilot's best mate the Gold Cup in 04. It was a dramatic race, and best mate beat you. Is there much said, Paul, like, two fences out in a Gold Cup? Are you screaming at Jim Cullity, or are you keeping your mouth shut? Or like, is we see it all on the TV, but are there things shouted and said?
He knew he was wrong. What do you expect? In the Gold Cup, you're going to pull out and let him up. I said, hey, where are you going, Benny? And I'd probably saved him. He was going to win anyways. He'd enough petrol to go around me, so... He knew when he pulled up, he says, here, sorry about that. I said, no, I made it hurdle on the fucking Clonmel. But...
and you got injured, did you, in Sausalito Bay when you won? Noel Mead, his first ever Cheltenham winner, took him a long time. And
I got a fall hunting a couple of weeks before that, and then coming to the last on Sausalito Bay, I had a hematoma on my back and it burst. So could you imagine the pain when that burst?
In the middle of the race?
Just before jumping the last, I said to Noel, somebody's after hitting me with this whip that bursted, but it wasn't. It was just the pressure from pushing him, and the hematoma burst. So I knew to myself, I've only one chance of winning, and so just go through the pain barrier. Actually, I looked like a cowboy coming up to John Wayne, and I think John Franken was actually doing the commentary at the time. He said, watch this, Paul Carberry, he's very stylish. Here I am, coming up like a bogman. But anyway, I had to do my best to get, because I knew it was the only chance of a winner that day. So I'd only 3 rides that year. Rode him, he won. Had to lay down for the next 2 days, and I rode Flower the Pearl, was second in the Gold Cup.
There were 5 people in the audience. I counted them. They all just went, Jesus. Sounds brutal, right?
It's very brutal. The stuff that the jockeys put themselves through. Sometimes we don't know too much about it. Remember to use the hashtag Road to Gold to be in with a chance of being part of our quiz, which is going to take place in about 10 minutes' time. So you've got about 10 minutes to get your tweets in. And also we'll pick winners for the tickets to Cheltenham, and we'll be in touch with you tonight. You made your Cheltenham debut last year, your first year?
Last year, and I can totally relate to Paul's story, because I twisted my ankle really badly going to the bar to get more pints. So it's like really, I can totally understand.
And
But
then
look,
you're
did you
either
get there?
walking
I
up
got
a
there in
hill
the
or-
end.
You're
That's
either
the main
walking
thing.
up a hill then or down a hill. It's never
Well,
on the flat.
This is the thing. And like, I know there's a bunch of people in the room that have been there and seen it. And I've been to a lot of big sporting events, but there really is nothing like it. There is nothing like being there. And, you know, I can't relate to these memories that you guys have. But I tell you what, if you can make your way to Cheltenham at some point in your life, you will not regret it. Because like you say, the hairs go up on the back of your neck as they go up the hill. It's unmatched. It's Wembley, it's Madison Square Garden all in once.
Is it fun, Brian? Is it fun to be there and competing, or is it actually just so tense and so high profile that...
To be competing and doing well there is really good. It's a lonely place when you come out of there, and I think Paul would agree.
If you don't have a
If you
winner
don't have a
out
winner.
there,
Yeah, like last year was my first year not having a winner there since 2013, and this one I was looking forward to landing in Dublin on Friday and forgetting about the week. So it's like I'd say every sport is the same though. You know,
you want to be winning.
yeah, you want to win, and that's the place you want to win.
When it's going right.
It's just in horse racing you lose far more than you win. It's like, you know, if your batting average is 3 to 5 to 10%, you're a superstar.
It's a long week, like, and there's a lot of races there. So if you have a couple of chances and like if you don't get a winner Tuesday, Wednesday, you still have Thursday and Friday, and even the last race to Grand Annual. You know, you never know. Like your luck can change at some point.
Yeah, okay. John, before we get on to some tips, and you can get your pens out now, or you can start recording if you want. Give us some do's and don'ts for the festival goers.
If you've never been, it's got its own microclimate, so do bring a jacket. Don't drink and gamble at the same time. Not a good idea. If you want to make money, maybe you don't want to make money. That's okay. That's okay. You don't want to. You want to make money. Or you don't want to make money. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's 28 races. Like, you could be winning really well Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it could all go wrong. So just like, a winner is a winner, and don't lose the head, and don't lose your shirt, and just be patient and have fun, and like just plan out your day. It is like they've done a great job in redesigning the course in the last few years, but the 70,000 people and on like Gold Cup day, know where you're going to be watching the races, know your vantage point, and try not to get emotional. I remember there was one year. Probably I in 2005 I did a Lucky 63, which is a 6-bet accumulator. It cost me £126. I had a 33-1 winner, a 6-4 winner, a 7-2 winner. In the last race I had DeSoto in the bumper, and if he'd won, it was 20-1, it'd be 15,000 quid. And DeSoto was beaten about that much by Willie Mullen's horse called Miss That. And it cost me 15 grand. I got 1,500 quid out of it. So, throwing away all my professionalism, I went down in the winner's enclosure and I just shouted at Willie Mullins. I don't think he remembers it because he's still talking to me. You just cost me 15 grand. So, I suppose, back to my point that I'm trying to make to you is try not to get emotional in your betting. Because, you know, it might not work out, you know.
Just quickly on the do's and don'ts, we've been doing the Road to Gold. We're taking the Gold Cup trophy from the cider factory in Clonmel down to Cheltenham. And yesterday, and I'm doing it with Vogue, who's an absolute superstar. We'll meet her in a few moments' time. She's an absolute legend. But Vogue and Karina, who's a stylist, were giving us fashion tips. And I learned something new yesterday, but don't wear brown shoes with a blue suit, because that is a fashion no-no, and I'm guilty of that. But men in the room, and I'm wearing brown shoes with black.
For women, don't wear. Make sure if you're there for the week, flat shoes, because as I said, you're either walking up a hill or down a hill. Very sore feet.
But there's some fashion tips for you.
All right, well, let's talk about it. The show's called The Road to Gold. Let's talk about the Gold Cup itself. So this goes to post on Friday the 15th, and at this stage in the betting, presenting Percy is very short, right, for a Gold Cup at this stage, Oli? Is it like, so 11 to 4 is the price we're looking at the moment? An amazing horse. We did a show with Davy Russell recently, and looking back at the performances that Presenting Percy's put in at Cheltenham, it's like zooming up the hill every time, but Gold Cup's different, right?
Yeah, look, he's got an unbelievable Cheltenham record. The thing with Presenting Percy, he's trained by Pat Kelly, who's a bit of an enigma, a bit of a, silent assassin in many ways, because he's impossible to interview. He should be a really popular horse, but I think punters and racing fans are a little bit frustrated with him, because he was meant to run in the Red Mills. He might run this week. He ran over hurdles last time. No one really knows where they stand with Presenting Percy on a week-to-week basis. In terms of talent, he's more than capable of winning a Gold Cup. but I don't think quite yet he has that public following that, say, a Native River has, who's just a real war horse. He ran really well in the King George. I think there will be a lot of people that back Presenting Percy because on form and ability, he's more than capable of winning a Gold Cup. But I think the neutral, if you like, would probably be cheering on a different horse. I know we're in Ireland, and I don't want to be sort of say anything sort of
Go on.
there's controversial. No, but my point is, I don't think there are many people, particularly in the UK,
I think that's
that
the
would
thing.
be cheering Presenting Percy on over, say, a Native River, just because no one really knows where they stand with Presenting Percy.
We had.
Sorry. I love Presenting Percy and Ireland, by the way. Just to be clear.
He's a real crowd pleaser. We had Davy Russell on the night of the Thyestes, and a few reporters who were in Gorham Park that day said that the scenes were reminiscent of Denoli, and that certainly Presenting Percy has captured the Irish attention, but we see him so rarely that that probably hasn't yet transcended the national boundaries.
It's frustrating for racing fans, wherever you are in the world, want to see the best horses run and want to know where they stand with the best horses. And the simple fact is that Presenting Percy is meant to run last week, he's meant to run this week, he hasn't run last week, he might not run this week. We don't really know what's going to happen with Presenting Percy. That there is an element of sort of charm to that. There's like a bit of excitement.
It's the enigma,
will he,
yeah.
won't he? But it can be a bit frustrating. In terms of ability, Presenting Percy could very well be lifting the Gold Cup in March. He's every reason to be favourite on ability.
Brian, what do you think?
It's wide open. I disagree with people giving out about Pat Kelly. Like, Pat Kelly is about 5 horses in training. It's different with Gordon and Willie. They've 50 runners each in Cheltenham. Like, he's Pat Kelly's only horse going to Cheltenham, so he believes in himself that he can get him there in as good a condition as anybody else. And if he thinks by doing that he doesn't have to run him from Gorn to now, well then I can't see why. You know, if you owned the horse, would you want to run him on good ground over the last couple of weeks?
My issue is not with Pat Kelly. It's more, well, to a point it is. It's
Because he won't talk to you on ITV if
he won't talk to me.
He actually, I have a funny story.
That's Ollie's
You know Johnny Ward?
Kelly.
I've never tried to interview him, and I'm sure he'd say no if I did. But
He went up to Johnny Ward and Gorn.
yeah, and there's a video of him going, "Oh, can I?" And he goes, "No."
Johnny, he said to Johnny, he said, "Look, Johnny, you saw exactly what I saw. You can write whatever the fuck you want in the paper. Go away." Johnny was just standing there like nobody.
It's not necessarily the point with Pat Kelly deciding that he's going to go there without a prep run. It's more the tease of it all. That, like, for example, on ITV, we showed Gorham for the first time on ITV, which is amazing. We showed it, and we were able to see Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore win with Monolith, which again is amazing. But imagine that to the racing fans that think Presenting Percy is going to run. It's kind of good to see these stars to attract racing to a wider audience. And it's just a bit frustrating
Maybe
from
after race, they're paying him a few quid. Not to run,
hang fire, Ferry House next week. But we want to see these Gold Cup stars as much as we can. It's a very selfish reason why I want to see him more. But if Pat knows the time of day. We saw it with Maldini. We've seen it with Presenting
Yeah, it
Percy.
just wouldn't surprise me if he goes there and wins the Gold Cup.
Oh, completely.
Man's a genius. Now, obviously, it's a big ass, but
Oh, I agree with
wouldn't.
you.
Do you fancy him?
I genuinely do. Yeah, I just thought his performance last year in the RSA was outstanding. Like, that's a tough race. It's a real grueler of a race, and he genuinely jumped to last like he just jumped in. Now, Davey gave him a fantastic ride as well. He went around the inside the whole way, but I think he's a horse with a lot of ability, and he'll be a lot sharper from the run and going. I'd say he's an idle little horse, but like in Cheltenham, he won 7 or 8 lengths that day. You know, he quickened up the hill.
Zoomed up the hill, yeah.
Yeah, so he's obviously got a massive engine, and just wouldn't surprise me. I put this way now, if I was ranked to ride him, I wouldn't be saying no.
Yeah.
I think he's the best horse in the race.
Yeah, ability-wise anyway, yeah. Because I don't think the ground is going to be soft enough for the English horses.
Kate, I think I'm right in saying that when we did this show in Clonmel, Sizing John was still
He was,
always good.
sadly not, he's not in the picture anymore, which is a big blow to us. But look, I think the Gold Cup this year is wide open. I think it's a bit of a mystery because it's been a very unusual year in the sense that we've had very unusual weather sense. I think everyone today will see it felt like spring, and it's only February. And I actually walked Cheltenham today, and the ground felt good enough. So, like, it's going to be a strange Gold Cup. It's going to be a lot of horses haven't run. I was very impressed by Monolith last weekend. He's a horse that's been running. He's been running on the good ground. Henry has it, and he's going to have the experience this year. A lot of horses are going to go to Cheltenham, and the Gold Cup's going to be a big field this year. It's not going to take your you're going to have to get out there, and it's going to be a grueler. And I think a lot of horses are going to lack match fitness and practice, because to be in that Grade 1 sense, they've got to be sharp, they've got to be. And I was impressed with Mannerly last weekend, and I think he could go there with a good each-way chance.
Yeah, right. Monley about 25 to 1 at the moment.
Henry's in the crowd there. I think you could give us a word, could he?
Is he going to run the Gold Cup?
I don't know. Is he going to run in the Gold Cup, Henry?
Is Henry here?
Let's get a mic down there.
Henry, you're live on ITV. Is he going to run the Gold Cup? No, I didn't. I didn't want Pat Kelly on ITV.
Henry,
Are you running the Gold Cup?
Off the ball can step in here and save this Anglo-Irish debate. Are we going to get some news about the
I
Gold
told
Cup?
you I was going to get you up.
No news in the Gold Cup. But is that a maybe?
Well, I think you should go, Henry.
We tried. He's a very, Monolly's a great horse. He's a lovely horse.
Paul, what do you think of the Gold Cup?
I think Road to Respect's when he won in Down Royal was the Gold Cup sort of a contention horse, and he was unlucky the last couple of times. I think nothing went right the last day or the time before. So I'd be happy now if I think Noel Meal have a great chance in it.
Okay, so Road to Spec, around about 12 to 1 at the moment. Let's quickly go through some of the other days before we were. Jarlath has a slightly contentious view that jockeys don't actually matter in horse racing, which he's going to defend in a couple of minutes' time.
Well, I actually do have one tip, though. I do have one tip, and it's an absolute cert. So get your pens out right now. This is definitely going to happen. Post-race, you're going to get some really terrible interviews with jockeys, that's for sure. You're going to be like really in it, like, oh my God, this is an amazing moment, surely. And the response you're going to get is, oh yeah, sure, I'm just really happy for everybody involved. Tell me, is that frustrating at a certain point where you're just like, Christ, just give me something to work with here?
I'll be honest with you, it probably means I'm not doing my job very well. I probably need to ask better questions. Do you know what the thing is with Cheltenham, which I think is this year so good, and the Gold Cup is a prime example of it? A lot of the time, and in recent years, you've seen big powerhouse owners, rich, and I'm not knocking them having big race successes because they put a lot of money into the sport. Richie, Jigginstown have had a lot of success in the last 2 or 3 years. Going into Cheltenham this year, there is a massive spread of different trainers, owners, horses that have live chances, and jockeys as well. So I do think you'll get a lot of really lovely reactions to winners, and hopefully that's borne out in the coverage that everyone's showing of the Gold Cup and the Cheltenham Festival.
Well, I'll take that bet.
Essentially, I need to ask better questions. It's the long and short of it.
Let's cycle through some of the other races here. John, we might start with Tuesday, right? The Champion Hurdle. This is the 12th of March. At the moment, Apples, Jades, Bouvardere, round about 15 to 8, Lorena about 7 to 2, Sharjah leads the betting after that. What do you think?
Yeah, I would just reiterate, Ger, what everybody said about the Gold Cup. I think it's wide open, and I think he could be looking for a couple of outsiders, each way outsiders. Elegant Escape won the Welsh National, is Stayer, and Balco de Flo is not a horse I would discount after winning the Ryanair Chase last year. Henry de Bromhead is in the audience again. But the Champion Hurdle, I think with Lorena, we don't know how good Lorena is, and that's the big mystery. Lorena could be like Alderbrook, could come and win the race quite easily. I think Ruby will ride her. I think Mellon is overpriced at about 20 to 1. Nearly won the race last year. I think Mellon will show his best form at Cheltenham. I think at 20 to 1 he's overpriced. Willie had some favourable comments on the At The Races website about him. But I think the horse to beat, and Brian might back me up here, is Apples Jade. Second in the Triumph Hurdle at the course, won by half the track and soft ground at Aintree, and has been brilliant this season. I think she'd be in much better form coming to Cheltenham than she was last season. I think Apples Jade is the one to beat.
It all depends. Make sure she doesn't come in season.
Yeah. that famous cycle, is it?
Yeah.
So Apples Jade is the one to beat for me, but I think Mellon is an each way price.
Do you like Apples Jade?
Yeah, of course.
There you go.
I'm not so sure there could be anyone in this audience now. So, no, look, she's a fantastic mare. I was very lucky to ride her. I think I won 5 or 6 Grade 1s on her. She's a fantastic mare. Has got better and better with age. I think the more racing she's got, the better she has got. Last year you would have questioned had she trained on, but to do what she's done this year has been phenomenal. When I heard she was going back to 2 miles, I was a little bit worried because the older horses get sometimes, the more they appreciate a step up and trip. But she looked as good as she ever did in Leopardstown the last day, and Gordon has done a fantastic job of getting her back. You don't know where the mares stand against Bouvardaire. Like, everybody tries to knock Bouvardaire, but he's still won 2 champion hurdles, you know, and he's going back for a third time, and he jumps so slick. Applejade has a tendency to jump a little out to her right when she goes to Cheltenham, which won't kind of help around there. But look, we're in for a fantastic race, and I won't be riding it, but it'll be a race I'll be watching closely, because I think it'll be the race of the week.
All right, let's move on to the Champion Chase and Altior. Can Altior be beaten, Ollie?
No.
Falls.
No.
He can be beaten. I know how to get him beat.
You do? Go on.
Oh, I'm the last person to get beat on him. Claim to fame, yes.
Is you?
What happened?
Altior?
Yeah.
When?
Punches now.
Lunchtime, champion bumper.
That was Jason.
Bells Hill did win, though.
So did you lose or did Bells Hill win? Is that the...
I lost.
Okay.
Bells Hill won. There was a lot of very good horses in front of me.
And do you get killed after a race like that, where you're like, oh, Jesus?
No, he was an outsider. Barry Gerrish, he also got beat on him as well the time before. So,
Okay.
But I technically am the last person.
And the bumper too.
Barry, the bumper in England. So yeah, technically. So he is beatable.
Just on the champion hurdle, though, there's a lad up there called Biscuits. All right, Biscuits? We've had a match bet. There's plenty of Apples Jade's fans here. And Apples Jade's run 3 times at Cheltenham. She's been beaten twice. And last year she got beaten by Benny Didier and a horse called Midnight Tour that was 66-1. For a horse that's, 2-1, I think, now for the champion hurdle, she's only 1 from 3 at Cheltenham. And Bouvardaire was beaten by Verdana Blue in the Christmas hurdle.
So you don't like either of them?
I think Lorena's a nap in it. Thank you. We've won them over.
They're away.
We got there in the end, lads. I think Lorena's a nap in the champion hurdle. I was impressed with her the other day. And there's flaw. I know that Brian's point is right. A 2-time champion hurdler who hasn't got the credit he deserves. Being in the Christmas hurdle, his jumping hasn't been brilliant at every hurdle this year. And Apples Jade's 1 from 3 at Cheltenham. I think Lorena, third favourite, is the value in the race.
All right, well, that makes sense. That's a good tip to stick in your notebooks. The Stayers hurdle on Thursday. We have here Paisley Park, short price, Penhill at 5-1, and Sam Crow at 6, Super Sunday at 6, Faugheen at 7. This is one of those races where it looks like nobody knows what's going to happen. What do you think, Paul?
No clue.
No. Right, okay.
It'd be nice to see Samco come back and do something. I know Simon Godwin said he's back in after a break and he's going well, so...
Paisley Park's probably the story of the season so far, with his owner Andrew Gemmell's blind from birth, and we're all fortunate enough to go to Cheltenham and be able to watch the racing and enjoy it. You will not find a human being on the planet at a race course that displays as much emotion about a horse race as a man that unfortunately can't see the racing. And his love, that he got a statue of the horse made after it won at Ascot 2 starts ago. He's now the short price favourite for the Stayers hurdle. And that's what I was saying earlier. These stories are brilliant. And if he wins, it would raise the roof.
Yeah, that's fair enough. John, what do you like?
Paisley Park's a banker.
Yeah.
Thank you for that input.
I thought he said
I thought you said something else.
I think it's another open race. Paisley Park was beaten out the gate. Now, he an illness, but he was beaten a long way behind Kilbrick and Storm last year at the festival. So I think it's a wait and see. It's not a race. You kind of have superstitions, and this is a race I don't think I've ever had the winner of. So you have some strange.
Got to break your duck sometime, John.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this year. But I'd be interested to see who do you fancy, Paul, in the champion hurdle?
I see Nicky's posted he thinks Belvedere the horse will be a lot better now for the champion hurdle as well. So Nicky's a fair man now. When he says he has one right, he'll have one right. I'm the same sort of with the mare, not winning there twice. I know she's very good in Leopardstown. Leopardstown is a totally different track than Cheltenham. So I'd probably go with Nicky's horse.
Right. Are you sifting through all the details of these races at the moment in case you end up in one of them?
Yeah,
is that how it works?
I'm ringing like every train every day of the week to get more rides. Yeah, look, everything's up in the air still, and obviously Willie, Gordon, Henry have a lot of runners over there. So, you know, I have a couple of rides for the week anyway, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you know you've got a couple already, and then
At
the
the
rest
minute,
will fall
yeah,
into.
I know a few
Well,
of them,
listen,
yeah.
best of luck with that. Is there anything else you want to give anybody any advice about that week? Anything else that tickles your fancy?
No, not really. I know. Look,
Cards close to his chest, I believe that's called.
I ride a horse in the Ballymore called Sam's Profile. I think he's about 16-1. He finished second in Ace in a Grade 1 behind Battle Over Doyen there a couple of weeks ago, and made a bad mistake at the Fort last, and I think he would have been a lot closer really for that. Now, look, he's a massive price, and he'd be good each way bet. I sat on him yesterday after racing, and you know, there is no better man than Mouse Morris to get a horse ready. One horse for the Cheltenham Festival, so I couldn't tell you not have a few quid each way on him.
Okay, well, that's good information, hot off the press. This is what I've been looking forward to most all night. Kate is going to step forward and defend the honour of the jockeys, but Jarlath in the Lion's Den, here in front of some of the greatest horsemen that have ever lived.
Yeah.
In Paul Carberry. He thinks jockeys don't matter, that actually all that matters is the quality of the horse. If the horse wants to win the race, Jarlath, it's going to win. Can we have our 30-second timer, please?
Okay.
You've got 30 seconds from now. Go.
Okay, well, I've spoken to AP McCoy, Ruby Walsh, you name them. I've been through every single one of the top names in the game, and each one I've asked, if the horse doesn't want to do it, can you convince him? And each one has said no. You are there for the ride, you're on board, but you are a spectator at the end of it. If that horse wants to feck you over its head at the very last second, at the last fence, he will do it. I love jockeys, I love horse racing, but let's be clear, the horses are in charge.
Has he convinced you? No. Kate, it looks like an open goal. Don't screw it up. 30 seconds for Kate Harrington to convince us that jockeys matter. Go.
Course jockeys matter. We tell the horses exactly where to go. We guide them around the racetrack, and we tell them where to go, if they're meant to do an extra lap or not, as Paul Carberry already said earlier.
Good information.
It's all about the hands, getting them nice and relaxed at the start of the race, not to run too keen, and to finish off the best they can. And I think, guys, Jarlath's problem is Mrs. Fahey, back in his days riding, couldn't get through to him, and he was... Go on, Jarlath. Did she lose her voice trying to tell you teach you how to ride?
Yeah, no, she basically told me never to come back. That's what happened. But on the issue of whether the horses know whether to go, you know, you get them there. How many loose horses win races? Let's be honest. I'm being silly here. I'm being silly. I do think there's I do think there's like I take on board what strategy is, and I know what Paul's talking about. Like, this is race management, is what you guys do.
They know where their stable yard is, and they know where the lorry is.
Yeah.
That means home, so that means we have to guide them round the track.
But, like, the questions that I used to ask, like, AP and Ruby, was that, like, these are an animal that are super volatile. And when you try and relate to us what it is to feel the horse and know how to calm the horse, you're really speaking a different language, because most people in this room have never been on a horse.
Carberry's the definition over there. See his hands there? They are gold. No one else has them in the world.
Yeah.
In the world. Paul Carberry's hands. You can't go up and pick them up a little.
Like I am being silly. Like I do fully get the importance of jockeys. But what I think it is hard for the punter to understand exactly what it is you're doing, because you're so deep into it that it's hard to actually explain what it is you're doing, and hence the difficult interviews afterwards where you try and explain what did you just do. You basically worked a bit of magic to make this horse win when he's ultimately nearly as fast as the others.
Yeah. This 30-second debate has turned into a legitimate That
was kind of our intention. The jockeys matter, right?
Yeah,
of course.
He wouldn't have a job.
Why?
You
I wouldn't have a
say
job,
that.
but I've had plenty of them. if it didn't matter.
Paul, what do you think?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, Paul. Have you ever been on a horse where you've thought, as good as these hands are, and as good as I am at calming, this horse is mental and anything could happen out here.
Yeah. Loads of times.
Well, that's my point, I guess. That it is such a mad business that you're in.
He normally gets them to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Give him 5 minutes and boom.
Right, there'll be enough people complaining in this room if a bad ride costs you money at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
Or a trainer. You cost me 15 grand is the line of the night. All right, so that's the end of the panel discussion. We are going to give you a little break to get some pints in about 10 minutes' time. In the meantime, we're going to try and send some of you in the room. We're going to give you tickets to Cheltenham. We're also going to give a winner of our competition the opportunity to win a leg of a horse. You just needed to use the hashtag Road to Gold. So please give it up for Vogue Williams, who is your quizmaster.
Sorry I took so long.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nice chat, guys. I was actually involved in the last week's panel, and then they realised I know absolutely nothing about horse racing, so I got ditched for that. We've got Smash Hits coming up next, and they're just warming up in the wings, and they're amazing if you've never seen them before, so stay for them. Right now, somebody in the audience is going to win an amazing prize. We've got a syndicate slot up for grabs. It's going to give you a share in free jump horses, tickets to each day of the Cheltenham Festival, a share of prize money, stable visits, regular updates from the trainers, and loads more. On the way in, you all got given a raffle ticket. Do you have that ticket?
They're green.
So we're going to pick 2 tickets now. Now mix it up a bit. My beautiful assistant, Jar, here, he is going to pick a couple of tickets.
I have one.
First ticket, 146.
And the next one?
That is actually one of my friends, but I have nothing to do with this.
I picked the ticket.
That is one of my friends. The second ticket, I know, I didn't come up. Around there. Oh no, you come up this way. The second ticket is 195. That's one of my mates. Hello. How are you?
Come on up.
Around here. Just right around the
Maybe
side,
don't
yeah.
jump it. It's a bit higher than it looks. I know, it's not. we have Stokes Kennedy Crowley in the building to make sure there's no funny business going on. Don't worry. Come on up here, yeah.
Come on. Well, our first contestant is Connor.
See this yellow piece of tape? Don't move off the yellow piece of tape.
What's your name?
David.
David. Okay. Right, the way this works, we've got 3 rounds. You're going to be crap at this anyway.
Contestant number 2 is David.
We've got 3 rounds, and they're going to test your horse racing knowledge and your ability to dress as a jockey. You might be okay at that part. Okay, round 1 is called the pony or phony round. The rules in this are pretty simple, and I'm going to read out a list of horse names. All you guys have to do is tell us if these are the names of real horses, i.e. a pony, or if they're fake made-up horses, that will be the phony. You get a point for each correct answer, and my glamorous assistant, Jer, will be keeping the scores. Okay, I have to hide this now. Hang on a second.
You two can take a step forward so you can't look back. Take 1 step forward so you can't see. No looking.
Okay, we're going to start with contestant number 1, and that is Connor. Are you ready? Okay. Al Capone. Is this a pony or a phony?
Phony.
Got the Trots. Is this a pony or a phony?
Pony.
Usain Colt. Is this a pony or a phony? Would you like a tip? The tip is he was trained by Richard Hannon Sr.
It's a pony.
That's right. Well done.
I wanted him to be a pony.
The next one, Philly cheesesteak.
Pony.
Last one, Kev Kilban. Pony or phony?
Pony.
Good man, Connor. You got 1 out of 5.
Well done, Connor.
Not quite 50-50.
You might still win now, fair.
Okay, what is your name again?
David.
David, right. Here are your 5 horses' names, but are they going to be a pony or a phony? First one, your ma.
Phony.
That's right. Well done. Oh! Hamas.
Pony.
That's right.
That's it.
Third one, may the horse be with you. Do you want a tip?
Phony. Right.
You're only laughing when I did that to poor Connor.
She's your friend.
The fourth one, Pony Soprano. This horse competes in pony trials in the US.
Pony.
That is correct. The last one, number 5. This is a New Zealand bred horse. Just the tip.
Tip. Just the tip of you.
Just the tip.
Pony.
That is correct. Okay, where are we at now?
4-1. That's a
4-1.
commanding lead for Davids.
I'm actually mortified he's my friend.
Hold this. Hold this.
Okay, round 2.
Hold this.
This is the Silks Challenge. Bryan Cooper, Kate Harrington and Paul Carberry, you know all about changing in and out of different silks between races. And now we're going to see how quickly and how neatly you two can do the same. You only have 10 seconds and then I don't think that I should be choosing anymore. Jer is going to choose.
I think Kate's going to choose.
Now you have to dress as neatly as you can, but dress in the right way within 10 seconds.
Come on, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. And Jer is going to say who the best dressed is. 3 points goes to the winner, and the loser gets nothing.
Take your jacket.
Your 10 seconds.
You can take your jacket off beforehand.
No. You need to get your okay. I don't. I don't
You've
know.
only got 10 seconds. Your 10 seconds starts
Wait.
now.
Okay, time up. No. Time up. He didn't even have it down. So, Kate.
That was awful.
Okay.
Okay, after round 2.
It appears pretty. Kate's doing it. It appears
Right.
pretty clear cut.
No, you didn't quite have yours on, but you did get yours on. But
Over the jacket as well.
yeah, exactly. Over the jacket is on back to front, but we'll give it to you.
There you go.
Okay, so the score was 4-1, and you get 3 for winning that, so that makes it 7-1.
7-1. Oh, that's embarrassing. Woo! It's lucky you dressed well. Okay, the final round is going to be our pictures round, otherwise known as Name That Horse. We're going to reveal the image of a legendary racehorse. Where is it going to be revealed?
You need to look at the screen. There's a little screen here or down for the big screen, yeah? So it's going to be on the little screen in just 1 second.
Okay, for each...
The big screen.
You're probably going to win anyway, it's Grant.
I don't think so.
Okay, for each part of the...
the
image, we're going to we'll give you a clue. The quicker you identify the horse, the more points you score. But the more pictures and clues you need, the less points you're going to score. So right now, I'm going to ask you to pick one of our experts as a teammate for this round. We're going to start with you, Connor, because you're coming last. Who would you like to pick? You've got Kate, Bryan, Paul, John Duggan, Oli Bell, or Jarlath. Oh!
Your help.
He was one of the groupies for Oli Bell a little bit earlier on, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, oh, you've got Cooper. Okay.
Are we guess?
Yeah, so it's this screen here. It's gonna, once the first clue is revealed, it will appear on that little screen in front of you.
Okay, so for 6 points, this is 6 points.
What?
No, it's just
This one here.
Jolly.
Yeah.
No, he already chose. I don't know. You can't really swap. No.
I'll be all right.
And
Bad
rude. Okay, for 6 points, name that horse.
Is it
Yeah, you guys are going first, yeah.
You guys are going first.
I think. Can we guess?
The clue is...
Clue, they don't need a clue. You don't want a clue?
No.
Okay, what's the horse?
You get a clue anyway for the 6 points. So this is a retired Irish thoroughbred.
Next one.
For 5 points.
Okay, so next up we've got... For 5 points, here's your clue. He was sired by Sadler's Well.
Guess that. Do we get another go if we guess?
Yeah, you get a go.
You can still guess.
Use the red mic there.
Me.
Who is it?
Istabrack.
Yes!
Correct.
5 points! Woo! Okay.
They wouldn't put a mic to me.
Now it's up to you two.
Yeah, it was only Orgo. It was there, wasn't? Yeah.
Okay,
They
what
got
do
5
you...
points there, which takes them to 6.
So what's the score at the moment?
7-6.
You're still winning with 7, so right. So for 6 points, name this horse. Bit of change. Now the clue is his racing career only lasted 1 year.
His career lasted 1 year.
Any idea? Is that even a part of a horse? Is that its legs? Yeah.
A fetlock.
It's a flat horse. Anyway, I know. What?
Give us a guess.
Come on, we need a guess.
Time is ticking.
No.
You want to guess?
No.
Okay, right. For 5 points, name that horse. Clue, he ran 8 times and won 6 races.
What the fuck? It's one of Derby's.
No, there's no conversing. It's only one person.
Harrington.
Any idea?
Camelot.
No, it is not.
Not Camelot, no.
Okay, for 4 points, name that horse. Here's your clue. He was also sired by Sadler's Well.
I know.
His racing career lasted 1 year.
What was the one? He was had
He
1
ran-
year.
Yeah, he ran 8 times and won 6 races, also sired by Sadler's Well.
His career only lasted a year. Okay, we can't get... how many more seconds?
No, next one.
Okay, next clue.
Galileo.
For 3... you can't... no.
What's your answer?
Galileo.
Galileo's correct.
Yes.
In retrospect, it didn't really
Okay,
matter because you'd already won.
You won! Yes.
It was a fix.
Right, well that
Come on,
means...
Davids.
Congratulations, you have won a share in 3 jump horses, tickets to each day of Cheltenham, a share of prize money, stable visits, regular updates from the trainers, and there's a lot more to that prize too. Sorry, babe.
Vanessa's going to be freaked.
Our eternal gratitude.
Yeah, my girlfriend's going to be freaked now over this.
All right.
Take her to Cheltenham.
Thanks very much to everybody for being involved. That's pretty much the end of this part of the show. My thanks to Vogue Williams, Paul Carberry, Kate Harrington, Bryan Cooper, Oli Bell, Jarlath Regan, John Duggan, and yourselves. Give yourselves a massive round of applause. I'd also like to thank our friends at Bulmers. Make sure you keep tabs on their Road to Gold campaign. There's one more of these shows to come your way from Cheltenham. It's going to be an absolutely sensational show on the Sunday before Cheltenham, so stay tuned to Off the Ball for details on those. But I'd also like to thank Louise and Seifra and Paul on sound. Most importantly to you, our beautiful audience, to Sue and JP as well. You've all got a couple of minutes to get a few Bulmers in, and then Smash Hits are going to entertain you for the rest of the night into the small hours. Thanks very much. Good night. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul. That was great.